Have you ever wondered why we have funerals? Why we wear black to mourn? Or why some cultures celebrate death with vibrant parties? The way we deal with death isn't just a personal thing. It's a story thousands of years in the making, a cultural tapestry woven with belief, fear, and love. Let's explore the fascinating cultural history of death. Our journey begins with our earliest ancestors. Imagine a world without science, where death was a profound mystery. The Neanderthals, over 60,000 years ago, were some of the first to show signs of ritual burial. At sites like Shanidar Cave in Iraq, archaeologists found bodies intentionally placed in graves, sometimes with flowers. This wasn't just about getting rid of a body. It suggests something deeper, a sense of loss, respect, and maybe even a belief in an afterlife. These early humans were starting to grapple with the big question: what happens after we die? This act of burial was a monumental step. It separated humans from the animal kingdom, marking the beginning of our long and complex relationship with mortality. Now, let's jump forward to ancient Egypt, a civilization famously obsessed with death. For the Egyptians, life on Earth was just a prequel to an eternal journey. Their entire society was geared towards ensuring a successful trip to the afterlife. This is why they developed mummification, a sophisticated process to preserve the body so the soul, or ka and ba, would have a home to return to. They built massive pyramids and hidden tombs, not just as monuments, but as eternal houses for their pharaohs, filled with everything they'd need in the next world: food, furniture, chariots, and even games. The Book of the Dead wasn't a single book, but a collection of spells and instructions to help the deceased navigate the treacherous underworld and pass the final judgment. The weighing of the heart. If your heart was lighter than a feather, you were granted eternal life. If not, well, you were fed to a crocodile-headed monster. No pressure. Meanwhile, in ancient Greece, the view was a bit more gloomy. The afterlife, known as the underworld, ruled by Hades, wasn't exactly a paradise. It was mostly a grey, shadowy place where souls, or shades, wandered aimlessly. Think of it less as heaven or hell, and more as a dreary, eternal retirement home. Figures like Achilles famously said he'd rather be a poor farmer on earth than a king among the dead. The Greeks placed a huge emphasis on proper burial rites. A coin was placed in the mouth of the deceased to pay Charon, the ferryman who would carry their soul across the River Styx. Without this payment, the soul was doomed to wander the shores for 100 years. This shows how important the community's role was in ensuring a peaceful transition for the dead. It wasn't just about the individual. It was a social responsibility. Then came the rise of major world religions, which completely reshaped our understanding of death. Christianity introduced the powerful concepts of heaven and hell, a divine judgment based on faith and deeds. Death was no longer just an ending or a shadowy existence, but a gateway to an eternal reward or punishment. This dramatically changed how people lived their lives. The fear of hell and the hope for heaven became powerful motivators. Funerals became solemn. Religious ceremonies focused on the soul's salvation, with prayers and rituals designed to ensure entry into heaven. The focus shifted from preserving the physical body, like in Egypt, to caring for the immortal soul. In the East, philosophies like Buddhism and Hinduism offered a different perspective. Reincarnation. Death wasn't a final destination, but part of a continuous cycle of birth, death, and rebirth called samsara. Your actions in this life, your karma, determine what you come back as in the next. The ultimate goal isn't a better rebirth, but to escape the cycle altogether and achieve nirvana or moksha, state of ultimate liberation and enlightenment. This belief fosters a different attitude towards death. It's seen as a natural transition, a moment of change rather than a final, terrifying end. Cremation became a common practice, symbolizing the release of the soul from the temporary physical body. Let's fast forward to the Victorian era in the 19th century. This period had a unique, almost theatrical relationship with death. With high mortality rates, death was a very visible part of daily life. But instead of hiding from it, the Victorians created elaborate and public mourning rituals. Think of Queen Victoria, who wore black for 40 years after Prince Albert's death, setting a trend for the entire society. Mourning had strict rules: how long you wore black, what kind of fabric you used. Even the stationery for writing letters had to have a black border. They even practiced post-mortem photography, taking photos of deceased loved ones as if they were peacefully sleeping. It might seem morbid to us now, but it was their way of coping with loss, of keeping the memory of the person alive in a very tangible way. So what about today? In the modern Western world, we've tried to sanitize death. It's been medicalized, moved from the home to the hospital, and often hidden from view. We talk about it in whispers, using euphemisms like passed away or lost their battle. We've become, in many ways, a death-denying culture, but things are starting to change. There's a growing movement to reclaim death, to have more open conversations about it. People are exploring green burials, living wakes, and creating personalized memorial services that truly celebrate the individual's life. Think of the vibrant Day of the Dead, or Dia de los Muertos, in Mexico. It's a joyful, colorful festival where families gather to honor and remember their ancestors, building altars with their favorite foods and celebrating with music and stories. It's a beautiful reminder that mourning doesn't have to be all black and somber. In Ghana, fantasy coffins are popular coffins built in the shape of something the person loved in life, like a fish for a fisherman or a plane for a pilot. It's a celebration of a life well lived. From Neanderthal flower burials to Egyptian pyramids, from Greek coins for the ferryman to Victorian mourning dress and modern-day celebrations of life. Our approach to death is a mirror reflecting our deepest values, fears, and hopes. It tells us who we are and what we believe in. By studying how different cultures have faced mortality, we can learn to face it ourselves, perhaps with a little more understanding, a little less fear, and a lot more appreciation for the one life we have. The story of death is, ultimately, the story of what it means to be human. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey through time interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon for more deep dives into our shared human story. See you in the next one.